I think protein's really an issue. I would really like to see, in a lot of cultures, protein's an accent to a meal. Little bits of meat in a meat sauce in Italy. Same with, Chinese food. We Americans want that big steak, that big pork chop, and we eat protein with almost every meal. And you don't need to do that. I think, one of my goals is to stop eating so much protein. Like, how about if I have protein like twice a week and get my proteins from other things, legumes? I mean, I'm talking about meat proteins and fish proteins rather than those other kind. Little fish, and people they don't like anchovies, they don't like sardines, they don't like squid. Those things are repopulating, quickly. I mean, yes, we can, anytime we sort of focus on one ingredient and we decide that's what I'm going to eat, we're going to have a problem. So diversifying those things that are sustainable and accessible, and trying to pinpoint those things and gravitating towards them. I hate leftovers personally, so I think that trying to figure out sort of a plan for those leftovers to make them not just reheated thing that you had the night before. Okay, for example, Thanksgiving. I had one brine turkey. I cooked 3 turkeys. I had a brine turkey, and then I had 2 heritage turkeys that were not brined. So the heritage turkeys I took apart and cooked them without their bones in them. So I took those bones and made a soup stock. And then the brine turkey, cooked that on the barbecue, took all the meat off of it, and then took those bones and put them in the stock with the other bones. So I have, they say you can't make stock out of the brine turkey, pieces because they're too salty. Well, I made a combination, and so I made this great soup. And, that wasn't necessarily what we wanted to eat at the end of Thanksgiving weekend when we've been eating turkey for, 3 days, but froze it, and, it was a huge meal. I mean, it was a huge, whatever, a couple meals. So thinking about that kind of thing, and, being able to kind of take food and turn it into the next meal, take what you've eaten one night and turn it into the next meal without it being exactly the same. A roasted chicken one night, and then I'll take the chicken and make it into a beautiful chicken salad the next day. That kind of thing.
Traditional?
I cook Mexican food for Christmas. We always celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve. It's very Mexican. So even though my grandmother wasn't someone that made tamales, it's a traditional thing in most Latin, families, and so I've taken it up for myself, and now I make tamales, and we always have a big Mexican feast on Christmas Eve. I had some really great, one of my bartenders made a drink the other night, and they did these boozy cranberries. So they took cranberries and soaked them in booze like you would like a brandied cherry or whatever. So that was kind of fun. They were really yummy. So I thought, and that would really kind of go with, vodka or gin or whatever. But it was a cute little garnish. I thought that was kind of cool.